Trenton 365 with Jacque Howard. Profiling the businesses, organizations, and people that make Trenton better.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Trenton 365 show. I'm your host, Jacque Howard. You can follow us on Twitter at Trenton365, website Trenton365.com, and there's several Facebook pages. Just do a search for Trenton 365. You can see the show, Library Boxes of Trenton, Lifestyle by Amans Brindle, and others. You are listening and watching over WIMG 1300, the oldest radio station in the state of New Jersey, and the two-time Stellar Award-winning station, and we're going for a third this year as well. And if you're watching, it's over WPHY, Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey. In the studio with me in the first segment is Lee Ingram, and he is part of an organization doing wonderful things in the city of Trenton, and they've got an amazing event that's coming up this weekend. But without any further ado, Lee Ingram from Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton. Welcome to the Trenton 365 show.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, man. And I'm gonna, before I have you introduce yourself, I'd like to do a public announcement of who you are. And not only are we neighbors, but you're also very active in the community, doing lots of different things. One of the first things that you had mentioned when you and I had connected many years ago was that when something happens in the community, you're one of the people who gets a call. And it's not that you're doing it for any other reason other than making yourself available, and that you're fulfilling and satisfying your soul and your spirit. And you often are known as Minister Lee Ingram because of the things that you're doing in the community. And I think it's important for people to know that as a sidebar about who you are as a person, and then all the other things that you're involved in. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I am a minister. And I'm one of those behind-the-scenes ministers. I go and I do the work and I go home. I don't stay for the cameras. I don't stay for the news. I'm there for the families when they really need the help, because the families in Trenton need a lot of help with a lot of different things. So I'm that Morgan Freeman guy in Shawshank Redemption. I get things.
Besides that, you got a wonderful sense of humor, too. And I think a lot of people don't actually see that side of you. But the people who have been around you for a little while do realize that you've got a wonderful sense of humor. And we were cutting it up in the green room a little earlier today.
Always.
Awesome.
You got to bring joy.
Yes. So can we talk a little bit about your background, where you're from, what you're doing here in Trenton, et cetera, and then we'll branch into talking about Fathers and Men United for a Greater Trenton.
My background is I'm born and raised here in the city of Trenton. I grew up in Wilbur Section, 200 block of Walnut, one of the toughest blocks in the city.
No doubt.
I was a thug. I was a drug user. I was one of the people when you saw coming, you went the other way. You just didn't want to talk to me because you didn't know who I was on any particular day. Mm-hmm. But then 26 years ago, God took over my life and said, you work for me now. And I've been doing his ministry his way. I go to the corners. I talk to the young men on Stuyvesant and Hoffman. I go out and I talk when death notifications come out in the city, when the young men have been getting shot over the years. I go out and I talk with the families if they need burial assistance. We had a program that would help them with the burial assistance. We work with the Attorney General's office and the forfeiture funds to help offset funeral costs. It's just so many different things that if people get burned out, we help with clothes drives, food drives. It's just so much that we get involved in that we just go find what the need is, and we reach out to the people in our network that can do that particular need. We don't do nothing for glory, because people are surprised when they find out, you do that? Yes, we do. We just don't talk about it, because it's not about talk. It's about letting the families know we're there for you, and if you need us, just reach out.
Mm-hmm. And over the last several years, Trenton has had its ups and downs with murders and different things, people losing their lives in Trenton from a multitude of different ways. And you're one of those folks who gets called. You get called, and then you come out, etc. Is that part of your ministry, or is that just something that you're passionate about as a human being?
It's having my nephew. In 1998, My nephew, Anthony Kelly Pace, was killed in front of my house. Guy came up, robbed him, shot him through the heart. And from that day on, I started a mission of making sure nobody else had to feel that pain. We went out, we helped search for the guys that killed him, and we did it the way our family in the South is. We posse'd up family, and we went and we found out. And we helped the police find out who killed our nephew. But it set me on a mission of never seeing a young man die over something senseless. And they only got $300 off of him when they killed him. And when they got caught and went to trial, their reasoning was they wanted to get high. You took a man's life so you can get high. No logic in it at all. But.
Well, you were very open, and you mentioned about your use of drugs and so forth, and how your life has changed. And you just mentioned an incident where a family member was killed, and it was drug related, not necessarily on his part, but on the person's part, who was looking for some money to take care of an addiction or to get high, etc. Is that one of the major influences for the violent crime that's happening in Trenton?
Yes, one of the reasons for the violent crimes here in Trenton is self-medication. People are lost. They in a lot of pain, and they don't know where to go get the help that they need. You got young men out there that don't want to be in the drug game, but they got 2 and 3 kids that need food, that need milk, that gotta have clothes, and they doing the best they can with no education and some with felonies. So they doing the best they can with what they got. And it's not like they really want to be out there, but they have no other choice. And if you look around the city of Trenton, the economic opportunities aren't there. You go down Broad Street, you got all these, I call them labor mills, all these temporary services that go in there, work for these big companies, get the workload out, then lay these people off. They have no future again. So we need to bring people in that's going to open up strong economic businesses, the old factories that we used to have in Trenton, the old mills. We used to have manufacturing here in Trenton off the work. You can leave one job and start another one an hour later. But we don't have that here now, so there's nothing for them to do. So that's why our young people are out just self-medicating because they're lost. They don't know what else to do. Mm-hmm. Nobody's talking to them. The mentors that used to be out the street, even me, when I was young and out in the streets, hanging in the drug houses and on the streets, the older guys would come here, young blood, let me talk to you. No matter what they was doing, they would always sit you down and educate you on something. We don't have that no more. It's like the young people know more than us when they really don't know anything. And when you try to educate them, they feel that you're trying to dumb them down and they get offended. No, it's not like that. I'm trying to show you how to get where you want to go. These are the steps that you must do. I can't do them for you, but I can walk with you through them. And that's my main goal, is to pick somebody up and take them like somebody did for me. People did that for me growing up. They took me under their wing. I started working at the Naval Air Proportion Center on Parkway when I was 14 years old in high school. And the young men out there, there's one guy, Jesse Greer. He ran the paint shop. When I came out there, the first thing he did, he looked at me. He said, you want to work, you just don't know how. He said, I'm going to teach you. And he taught me a work ethic that's still with me to this day. He said, no matter what job you have, no how little, how big or how small, take pride in it. So that when you walk away, you say, I did that. And you'll feel good about it. And it'll make you want to do more and more. And it's been with me since I was 14 years old, that ethic of no matter how small or something I do, when I look back at it, I can say, I did that. Mm-hmm. And that's the only the gratification that I look for, the pride that I know I did the best I can do with what I had.
Mm-hmm. And that in itself is, that you've put the effort in. You've given the 100% that you could, and you did the best that you could.
Anybody that knows me, when it comes to friendship, volunteering, work, anything that I do, I give you 100%. I don't mess around. If I say, like most people know me by my word. If I give you my word one time, you don't have to call me. You don't have to look for me. I'm there. People know that. Say, well, if Mr. Ingram say he gonna be here 8 o'clock, he'll be here 7:30. You ain't gotta call him no more. He'll be here, and that's just the way it is. Because your word, if you give your word to somebody, that's showing that you're reliable, you're trustworthy. You're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, and people take pride in that, and they'll work with you. They'll do anything for you when they know they got a person that they could depend on, and ain't got a handout. But it goes a long ways. It really goes a long way, and that's why I give 100% to everything that I do. And I just walk off and say, yeah, I did that.
And so 26 years ago, when you made that conscious decision, or God touched your life to change your life, did you immediately get involved in the type of ministry work that you're in now? Or what were some of the steps that led you to this point?
When I got clean, the first thing I started doing is helping my family, showing them, because I have a lot of addicted members in my family, that you too can stop. And slowly but surely, 2 of my sisters stopped, my aunt stopped, cousins stopped, friends started stopping, and they asked me how. And I would show them, you go to first go get yourself detox, then come back and walk through the NA program with me, and I'll show you how. I can't carry you through it, but if you go to Narcotics Anonymous and just follow the simple principles of that program, 26 years later, I'm still clean. I live by the first 3 principles of Narcotics Anonymous, and I call them I can't, he can, I let him. Because in the first step, it tells us, we're powerless. We can't do nothing. Our decision, look where all my decision making got me. It got me living in Mill Hill Park, eating out of garbage can, going to my mother's job at Mill Hill Park, looking like who knows what, asking her for money. And then when he touched me, he said, I know a way to bring you back to the person that you should be. And when I accepted that, the third step was I let him. And I let him continue to do that for me to this day. I always got to remember, my best decisions always got me in the worst situations. And they did. My best decisions always got me in the worst situations. So I don't try to make decisions anymore. I just go with the flow and go where I'm led. Do what I do. And when he says, hey, move on, you move on. It's just that simple.
Great. Lee Ingram, we're just about up on a break, but I'd like for you to share the contact information for Fathers and Men United for Greater Trenton, and then after the break, we're going to get into more information about that.
Okay. Fathers and Men United we meet every first Monday at Samaritan Baptist Church at 6 o'clock, and Bishop Ravenel is our spiritual advisor. He took us under his wing. And we have a Facebook page, Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton. We got to get up on Twitter. I really don't like Twitter because Donald Trump on there, but that's another story. But that's how you can locate. You can contact me at 609-468-3422 or on my Facebook page. And I hate giving out my Facebook page because my middle name, Lee Willie Ingram. But you ain't gonna find me without the Willie. So it's in there. And we have great memberships. You'll meet some more of the guys in a few minutes, but awesome. It's a great program.
Yep. And we'll get into that in just a moment. And folks, I just want to say that it's important for us to consider the times in which we live in. And for us to do that, we need to be civically and actively engaged in building the community that we want. This is no time for anyone to be sitting on the sidelines. We need as many people as possible to get involved into the game. And if you don't know the game, you don't know the rules, just ask. Just figure that out. Because as we move forward as a culture, as a community, as a nation, as a race of people, meaning humans, we all have to get together. We've got to work together to establish some sort of unity and cohesiveness, because if we don't, there's always an opportunity that things can go awry, and they can go awry quickly. And we'll be back after a short break. You're listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, and I'm your host, Jacque Howard.
Dude, I'm pretty nervous for this date.
Nah, you got this. First dates are all about finding what you have in common.
Like putting sweaters on dogs?
Sure, but I was thinking about going to a place you both like, where you both can get your favorites.
Oh, like McDonald's.
Exactly. But do yourself a favor. Please, don't tell any of your elevator jokes.
But they work on so many levels.
You and your date will love getting a cheeseburger for $1, a double cheeseburger for $1.50, or a triple cheeseburger for only $2. For a limited time, prices and participation may vary.
Do you have a long-distance relationship with breakfast? Does your morning commute take you farther away from the crispy hash browns and freshly brewed coffee you love? Do you tell yourself you're too busy? You just don't have time for sizzling sausage and fluffy eggs. Don't settle for missing breakfast. Let McDonald's close the distance between you and the most important meal of your day.
Come together with all your breakfast favorites in the bold flavor of McCafe coffee. Right now, get any size coffee for $1. Prices and participation may vary.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. I'm your host, Jacque Howard. Website, Trenton365.com. You're watching and listening over WPHY Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey, and over WIMG 1300, the oldest radio station in the state of New Jersey. In the studio with me is Lee Ingram, and we've been talking a bit about who he is as a person, as I always like to do with my guests. And now we're moving next into talking about Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton. And Lee, so let's talk about the organization. And what was the reason behind starting it? And I think it was in 2005, if I remember correctly.
It's around there. I came a little bit later.
Okay.
I came around 2006, I believe, 2007. When I joined, the gentleman that just left, Mr. Tracy Sifek, was the chairperson. And they were meeting over at Union Baptist Church. Then we moved over to Samaritan, where Bishop Revenell became our spiritual leader. We go around the city. We do prayer vigils. We just had one Saturday at Calhoun and Spring Streets. We did a prayer vigil there. We try to do a prayer vigil at least once a month in different crime-riddled parts of the city, which is just about all of them. And we try to reach out to people that just need somebody to pray for them. A lot of them, they always ask us, why don't the preachers of the churches that are here come out and talk to us? I said, I can't answer that question, and I can't. Maybe they want you to come in that door. But sometimes that's why I'm a minister. I'm a teacher. I go out in the streets. That's where I should go. Sometimes they ain't going to come to you. You got to go to them. And so what Fathers and Men does is we go to the people. We find out, like Thanksgiving, we find out families that's in need of food. We work together. They get the turkey donations. My brothers and sisters at New Jersey Transit, they donate funds for the fixings so that a family gets a full Thanksgiving basket, not just a turkey at Thanksgiving. We give them the full meal. And at Christmas, we go out and we give out an average of 500 to 600 hats and gloves to the children throughout the city. And we do a father-daughter dance. We just did one about a month and a half ago. We do a father-daughter dance. That's a big hit with the young ladies and the fathers here in the city. They loved that. And this year was extra special to me because it was a little young girl. She had to be about 2 or 3 years old. And we was giving out the dresses because if a girl doesn't have a dress, people donate dresses to make sure the young ladies have a dress. And if the fathers don't have a suit, Duncan Harrison and Carter Patterson down at UHI, they donate a suit and shoes, shirt, full suit for the father. So there's no excuse. It's a free event. It doesn't cost them anything. When they come there, we have a photographer that takes free pictures of them. The meal is free. The entertainment is free. It's just a night with no excuses for a father to spend time with his daughter. Now the mothers are getting jealous saying you got to do a mother-son thing because we don't let them in. We don't let the mothers in. That night, it's just strictly father, daughter, no mothers. And it's a wonderful thing that we love doing. Then we have our family day every last Saturday in August in Calwater Park, where we give out fully supplied book bags. Last year, we gave out 750 fully stocked book bags to children. And we give out at least 2,000 hot dogs and hamburgers every year. They eat that food up, and it's not, you don't find the food on the ground. When the parks get cleaned up, you don't find a hot dog, you don't find a hamburger, you don't find a bun on the ground. Don't people eat that food? And we have entertainment. We have the stage donated by the county to us so that we can let the kids have their day. They want to sing, get up on the stage and sing. You want to dance, get up on the stage and dance. You want to do anything that your heart's desire. It's their platform. It's not for us. It's not our day. It's their day to do whatever they want. We've done something, Fathers and Men has done something that people had totally forgot about. We brought the canoes back to Calwater Park at our event. Mr. Butler over at the Y, he brings the canoes and we give the kids canoe rides down in Calwater Park. People didn't know that there was a boat launch down there. That used to be the swimming hole. If they go look, there's a big board there showing that used to be the swimming hole in West Trenton in Calwater Park. There's a landing and everything right there. It's a lot of history in Trenton that's just not being taught, and the beautiful things in Trenton are just not being shown. It's a lot of history that's just being overlooked, that's not being taught. But Fathers and Men is trying to open people's minds. This is what's happening here in your city. This is what could happen here in your city. And we're partnering up with Miss Rachel Cogswell, yep, with her program with that she does in the summer. What is it? And I just talked to her at TCCA. I forgot the name of her program, but we're partnered up where we would do our picnic in the daytime, and then she had hers at night. So people would funnel from our event down to her event and just give people a full day of activity leading up to the end with movies under the stars. They have baseball, kick soccer, tennis, horseshoes, ting pong. They had last year. They had the digital truck come out with the games in it for the kids. It's just everybody is starting to really come together. Something that should have been done. If all the organizations that are doing things in the city really came together, Trenton would have something going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. But they just got to put personalities aside and come together, and we can really bring the city back to what it used to be. Because I remember growing up in downtown Trenton, going to the Mayfair. Everybody wanted to be Bruce Lee when you came out.
So you touched on a bunch of different points there that I think are very specific to what we need to do to move Trenton forward. And I agree with you. I mean, Trenton, it's the country was founded on the streets of Trenton. George Washington became George Washington here in Trenton, New Jersey. And there's a lot of history that needs to be touched, and there's a lot that needs to be spoken about the history of our country here and how diverse the people were here. I had some historians in earlier this or last month talking about that, about how there was always people of color here in Trenton, even fighting with George Washington, etc. And that's information that needs to be shared with the young people, and especially the immigrants who are coming, so that it can open up their eyes to this being their city as well, them being included in the direction of where the city's going.
I always tease kids about George Washington. They always show the picture of George Washington crossing the Delaware. I said, yeah, they teach you about George. I said, but do you see the black man in the back telling him to look out for that rock over there? They didn't know it was a black man in the boat with him. Until they found it, until you show it to them.
Very interesting when you talk about that, and there's a whole story with that. We'll get into that in a bit. But you touched on a few things that Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton is doing and has been doing on a regular basis. The clothing drive, the father-daughter dance, the family day. Why are those events so important for the organization and the outreach of the organization?
It's so important to us because one of the things that we lack in the city is quality family time together. We lack that, and we got to bring that back. We got to have where the whole family is spending a day together. The mother, the father, the kids, just come out and just enjoy a day with no worries. You don't have to worry about buying nothing. You don't have to worry about doing nothing, because we got the rides for the kids. We got the jumpers for the kids. We got everything you need to just spend time. You don't have to say, well, I can't take her because I don't have the money, or I can't take him because I don't have this. No, we eliminate that. By having these events that's totally free, now all you got to do is show up. Because if you spend quality time with your kids, like with my son growing up, his mother sent him to me when he was 16 because he became a bit for her. Once he came, I had to first let him know it was 2 men in the room, 1 man, and he ain't him. I'm going to respect you. We're both going to be men in this room, but there's 1 man, and I'm him. So once we set the boundaries, now we can teach, we can learn. And that only comes from spending time with each other, sitting down, talking and communicating, something that we don't do a lot anymore. We got to sit down and talk and communicate.
I'd like to invite you back, especially when it comes time for when you're having another event, and to help support it and promote it. But can you just do a plug for this Saturday's event, and then we're going to transition and bring in Cameron and Eric.
I'm welcoming everyone to come out to the Ambassador Hall at 610 New York Avenue, Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We're having our award banquet cabaret with honorees Cameron Hunt, Darlene McKnight, Kenny Bullock, the 4 beautiful young ladies in the city clerk's office. We have Miss Grace Crossland getting honored. We have Mr. Martinez from North Trenton, who does a lot in the community. Just this event is about ordinary people, just the ones that make the other people who they think they are. The real workhorses. You can have a Rolls Royce, but until you put that engine in there, it ain't nothing. And that's what we're honoring. We're honoring the engines of all these mechanisms that's working that make our city great. And it's just for ordinary people.
Great. And what's the contact information again?
The contact information again is Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton on Facebook. You have my number, Lee Ingram, at 609-468-3422. And you also have our first meeting at Samaritan Church on Mondays, the first Monday of each month. And I hope to see everybody out, because Doug Henderson from WDAS he's a great host. I love having him.
I like Doug, but don't be giving no radio stations a plug here on my show. Anyway, Lee, thank you so much. We'll be chatting after the show. But folks, you've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show. We're going to be taking another short break, and then we'll be bringing in Cameron Hunt and Eric Wiggins.
Yeah, how did y'all find?
The Trenton Area Soup Kitchen, known to the community as R.E.A.C.H, is looking for volunteers and financial donations to help them provide the 300,000 meals they expect to serve this year to people in need in and around Trenton. Most people know R.E.A.C.H feeds those who are hungry in the Trenton area, but it's more than a soup kitchen and an advocate for the hungry. It's also an adult education classroom and an art gallery. R.E.A.C.H has a computer lab where people can work on their resumes and search for jobs. R.E.A.C.H programs nurture artists, writers, and musicians. The Soup Kitchen helps with housing and job training. R.E.A.C.H also collects socks, coats, and gloves from our generous donors so patrons can get through the winter. R.E.A.C.H is your local soup kitchen. Come to eat a meal or volunteer to serve a meal. They serve lunch Monday through Friday and dinner Monday through Thursday. Help provide food, hope, and opportunity to those in need. Make a donation or volunteer at R.E.A.C.H. Call 609-695-5456 or visit TrentonSoupKitchen.org.
Need a truck to move? Let Justin's Rental of Selman's Eagle save the day. Justin's has the right trucks for all commercial and residential moves. Justin's has the moving supplies and boxes available. Justin's Rental at Selman's Eagle has everything you need for your move at affordable prices, featuring the best in pickup trucks, 10 and 15-foot box trucks, and vans. Justin's Rental at Selman's Eagle is located at 2596 South Broad Street, across from the McDonald's in Hamilton. For all your rental truck needs, call 609-888-3327. That's 609-888-3327. Justin's Rental at Selman's Eagle. If you are moving, we have the trucks to meet your moving needs.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. Again, I'm Jacque Howard, your host. You can follow us on Twitter at Trenton 365 and one of the Facebook pages, Trenton 365 Show, where you can listen to archives of this interview as well as